worked with these great directors, Soderbergh and the Coens, and then recently Jason Reitman and Alexander Payne. What do you think is the greatest strength of each of them? What did you really, what impressed you so much with each of them?
Well, I would argue that all of them have one quality in particular that always sort of stands out, which is they have incredible confidence and they have incredible intelligence, and all of them do. There's a, you know, I've worked with directors who shoot without an opinion. You know, I like films that are shot with a point of view. I don't want to shoot with directors who collect a lot of footage and then get into an editing bay and figure out the film. You want them to shoot with a point of view. And all of them do. All of them have a very specific idea of whose point of view we're watching the film from, how we're telling the story, how much we're going to let the audience participate. All of those directors have that very specifically, and have taught me a lot about directing from that. I would argue that specific. Yeah.
Well, since we mentioned Alexander Payne, seeing the film a second time yesterday, what struck me was that the most dramatic scenes, which frankly in most hands would be done just for the drama and maybe for a little mawkishness and sentiment and so on, sentimentality, are shot through with humor that really increase the power of the whole piece. And it's just fantastic how that works. Scene, you know, with 3 or 4 key scenes that are very, very powerful, are punched up with great humor. It's a wonderful thing.
He's just he's just one of the great, he's 5 for 5. He's done 5 films. And, Citizen Ruth, Election, About Schmidt, Sideways. Fuck him.
Probably here, I gotta run.
Well, you still give him a hard time about Sideways, don't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I met with him on Sideways, and he's like, and then he's like, I'm thinking about maybe you. And I was like, really? And then, no, nothing.
Does Brad Pitt still give you a hard time about Thelma Louise? Or?
He does. Yeah, and I'm still upset about that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, but
The funniest thing is I didn't watch that movie for a long time because I was really stuck doing some bad TV then. And I'd audition, and I got right down to, it was like Brad and I sort of up for it, and he got it, and I couldn't watch that movie for a couple of years, And then when I saw it, I was like, oh, well, actually, that's probably the right choice. He was really good in that, and I would have fucked it up somehow.
Were there, unless it's a sore point, are there any other films you were up for at one point that were really interesting to you?
No, actually not really, because, by the time, there were films that I loved, that I wanted to be a part of. But when you see the other actors who did them, you go, well, that makes total sense. So I had no, you find that you end up getting the films that you were supposed to do. You can't really panic over the others.